My name is Annelene Timmermans. I'm from Aarschot in the Flanders part of Belgium. I'm a secondary school teacher of English and Dutch. I studied at KU Leuven. I studied English and Dutch literature and linguistics. And while I was doing my thesis on American literature, I thought, well, I don't really know everything. I don't understand everything. The author mentioned lots of religious aspects, and I thought, that's weird. We don't go to church in Europe and Belgium. There's a difference. So I wanted to understand that more fully. So I went into the MA program in American Studies here in Belgium. And after that, I just started teaching. I also got my teacher's certificate while I was at KU Leuven. And when I read the Klasse magazine, which is a Belgian magazine specifically for teachers, I read this little ad that said that you could go to the United States for 6 weeks as a teacher. And I thought, well, that is great, because that combines my interest in the United States and my interest in teaching. So I went to Amherst in Massachusetts, and there is the Institute for Training and Development, and they organize the Study of the United States Institute, a special program for secondary teachers and educators. So you don't really have to be a teacher, you can also be educating other teachers. What is so great about the program is that you interact with 30 people from different countries. It's very international. We all come from very different backgrounds. There are people from Africa, people from Asia, from South America, from Europe, from everywhere. And that makes it very interesting, because it made me critically review my own teaching methods by just looking at them through the eyes of these people from different cultures. We compared educational systems. So it was not just study of the United States, but it was also studying the world, in fact. So it was a very, very interesting program. And what also made it very interesting is that it was just 6 weeks, because most other programs are 1 year or more, and that makes it difficult. When you have a job, it's not easy to just leave for 1 year. So that was another advantage. So in Amherst, there is a university, a college. So we used those rooms, but it wasn't really part of Amherst College. So it was really ITD, the Institute for Training and Development. And they give you, well, a place to stay. So there are 2 places. There is the ITD house, which was where I was, and I preferred that to the dorms. So there were about 10 people in the house and 20 people in the dorms. And the people at the house, they were very, very fortunate, because there was a kitchen, a living room. It felt very much like you were at home, but in the United States. We not only had classes, lectures, but we also went to very different places, and they used minivans for that. So they transported us, and that was for cultural activities, but also for any kind of thing we wanted to do. So if we wanted to go shopping, we just said, we've got a group of 10 people, let's go shopping. Now the program itself is 6 weeks. 3 weeks are in Amherst, where you study. So you go to school, to university, you have to do readings, you have to prepare for classes. And in class, it's a very small class size, it's 30 people. So it's lecture plus discussion, of course, because we come from these different backgrounds. That makes it very interesting to talk about the topics from our different perspectives. So the 3 weeks of classes, and then 2 weeks of traveling through the United States. So not through the entire United States, but we went to the West, which is not California, but we went to Utah, Salt Lake City, and then up to Yellowstone National Park. And then we traveled to Washington, D.C., and to New York City as well. And then the last week is a week where you come back and do your research project, because you obviously have to do something while you're there. The first 3 weeks you do your research, you think about the project, there are people advising you, excellent advisors, excellent research facilities as well. And then in the last week you get time to prepare the presentation, because you need to do a presentation. The project, you're very free to do whatever you like because they want it to be useful to you. So I made a lesson plan as a teacher. I wanted to be able to use it in my English classes, but there are other people who weren't really teaching, but they were sent by their institution to do research on something and then take that back to their home country. So yeah, it had to be very useful, and the advisors helped you out. You really needed them to narrow down the topics, to challenge you in a way to make the project as good as you could make it. The application process is threefold. First, you have to do the preliminary application where they check if you have the right degree and the right experience, because for this program you need 3 years of work experience. If you pass that, you can do the real application, which consists just of facts, you know, the degrees and all of those things. But also you have to write essays. And these essays cover your personal motivation, what you personally want to take home with you, and also professionally. So you have to write 2 texts, but you also need 3 letters of recommendation. And I think these 3 are crucial. You really need good references. If you pass that, if you're selected, you go for an interview, and there is a jury, there are people interviewing you from Belgium, other teachers who went and did the program, so they really know if you would fit in, if you could participate in the program. And of course there are people from Fulbright. They ask you all kinds of questions like how would you represent Belgium in the United States? What are you going to talk about? The tips that I could give you is to really try to make the essay on the professional experience that you will take back with you, make it as concrete as possible. Because I wanted a lesson plan, some concrete material that I could really use. And then I said, how will I apply it? So I spread the word. My teachers at my school, they all know about it and they're very enthusiastic now. In Belgium, you cannot really move up the ladder as a teacher. There are no ways to really enhance your career by going through or doing this program. So I think that what you get out of it is basically a better Belgian-American relationship, but in the classroom where I am, which is important as well because these people then go outside and spread the word. There are lots of stereotypes about Americans in Belgium, and I try to get rid of those. My project that I did was actually about the American beauty culture because I left Belgium and thought, well, either Americans are all fat or they're really Botox. And in Amherst, no one was like that. So I thought I need to do something with these stereotypes and try to get rid of those. I really encourage English teachers in Belgium to go to America, to go on this program, because it makes you much richer as a teacher. How can you teach English when you have not been in the United States? As a teacher, you need to be able to speak from experience, from critical observation. You need to participate in these cultures, and then you can really be an excellent teacher.